been tasked with building a computer for a friend, and he doesn't want anything too flashy, but he wants something that's a kind of future-proof, that's going to last him a while. He only uses it for web browsing, YouTube, burning CDs, I think, and a few other things. But I don't want to build him something that's crap. I'd rather get him to spend a little bit of money and get something that's half decent, that's quick, that can do the needy. Anyway, the build that I'm going to do, if you were to buy it pre-built, it would cost a hell of a lot more. What I'm going to show you, as you can see, I've got scan up here. Now, I've already gone through the parts that I'm going to use, and this took me ages yesterday, and then I found out that I was recording and I didn't have the mic on, so you couldn't hear a word I was saying. So I've placed the order, and I should be getting the parts tomorrow to start the build. There was numerous problems initially where I kept swapping out what motherboard I was going to use, or purchase should I say, because one had onboard Wi-Fi, the other didn't. So I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do initially. I wanted to put it in a micro ATX case, but then the power supplies cost a lot more, and the majority of micro ATX cases didn't have a space for a DVD drive, so you'd have to get a portable one. It just seems that the prices on the micro ATX appear to be a lot more expensive than just standard ATX, so I figured to build something decent that remains within budget, we're going to have to go with standard ATX. This is the site that I use, but I didn't just use this because I found that some of the components were actually cheaper on Amazon Prime. So I was on this for ages and messed about a lot, took parts off, put parts back, you know how it goes, and eventually I managed to just about get it within budget. Changed a few bits here and there, but you can see what I will be building. So if I go to my account and I go to my order history, this is going to help you. This is what should be arriving shortly. We've decided to go, well, if I start at the bottom, we're going for a Gigabyte Z390 UD motherboard. I'm going to click on it so you can see what it does. The reason I chose this was because it was it was pretty cheap, and B, it had a 240 gigabyte SSD thrown in because of clearance, and the SSD is half decent as well. So I figured get in there and get that sorted as quick as I could, so I purchased that. And a good thing too, because I've gone back on to have a look at this, and now they're doing the Z390 board, but they don't actually have the offer with the free SSD, so we saved some money there. So yeah, we've purchased the Z390 board. We've also got on here the SSD there, which is fine. We've also got a 256 gigabyte Intel M2 NVMe drive. Now, to be honest, I've never used one of these at all because on my current computer I don't have a slot for this. But I wanted to try it out and see how fast it is in comparison with my computer when I build this one. So, given that we had the kind of cash lying around and I wanted to experiment a little bit, we decided to purchase one. Now there's, I think for about 60 quid there was a 512 gigabyte module as well, which at the time seemed logical to go for that, but then on second on second inspection I discovered that the write speed and the read speed, I think on the one that was 512 gigabytes, the read was like 1500, I think 1500 megabytes read, whereas this is 3210 megabytes read and 1315 megabytes write. So it's very fast. I mean, on paper, if you compare this to a standard SSD, this is like twice as fast, if not more. So we should see some serious boot up times when I install this. So yeah, we're going for this, and this I kept with scan because on Amazon Prime I think it was like 65 or 70 quid, I can't remember. I think it might have even been more. So yeah, this is a decent purchase, I believe, so hence why I bought it. We're only going to go with an Intel Core i3. Now the Coffee Lake one, there was a 9100F which I was originally looking at, and it was like £98, and it appeared to do what I wanted it to do. The only thing is it didn't have integrated graphics, and the guy I'm building it for, he wants to be able to put it on not only his monitor but also on his TV as well, so he can drag stuff across. So he's got like multi-monitor, watch, I don't know, YouTube on TV, which you could probably do with a smart TV anyway, but he wants to be able to do that, so I'm going to make that possible. So with that, I would so either get this CPU, which has got integrated graphics, or get the other one which doesn't, and then have to buy a separate video card. I've decided to go with the Core i3 because it's got integrated graphics. So we're going to go with that. Obviously, we need the thermal paste and cases. To be honest, I went through loads of cases. I was sitting here for ages. Literally, I was sitting here for ages going through what case I would finally get, because most of the cases I planned on getting were in the region of about £50 or £60. But then I came across this one that just seemed to fit the bill. It works on a standard ATX, and I actually think this looks quite smart. And for 20 quid, I don't think you can really go wrong. I mean, look at that. I think the guy is a much more maturer person, shall we say. He's in he's a lot older than me, and I think this would suit him down to the ground. Plus, it's got a 4.5 out of 5-star review. Although there's only 2 reviews, but for that price, it looks pretty decent. I think it looks good. I've decided to go with it. Hopefully, he will like it. We're going to need a CPU cooler to go on top of the CPU, so I've got this Arctic freezer, and I've just thrown in a Bluetooth module for the sake of it, to be honest, because it was like $2.99. Just getting everything else, I might as well just throw this in and get it as well. So, hey, and that's dispatched. So I'm supposed to get this tomorrow. So tomorrow you're going to see me building this from scratch. It's not rocket science. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. I've done 3 or 4 different PCs now, different specs. I mean, my own rig is a virtual reality rig, and it's got some serious equipment in there. I've got a GTX Titan XP in there, so the card alone is like 543 quid, but it does what I want it to, and I always recommend building your own PC as opposed to go and buying one off the bat if you're a bit technically minded. Reason being, you always get better value for money, you can customize your parts, and you can get exactly what you want to suit you. But some people are scared of building their own PCs, thinking that it might go wrong, etc, etc. So I can understand that as well, which is why when I bought these components, Scan offer a Scan Protect warranty, which basically means if you screw up the build or you put something in wrong and blow apart, which if you know what you're doing you shouldn't do, they'll replace that particular part, or so they say. Now, I'm not planning on blowing up the computer, but for 930 you can't go wrong, because you never know what might happen. So yeah. Now, bearing in mind, to build a computer you do need to have your motherboard, your CPU, your case, your memory, your operating system. My additional stuff that I've got is on Amazon Prime. Now, this should also be coming tomorrow. Now ignore the top there. What I'm going to do, if you can see, I've got a TM902C digital thermometer. Basically, I've got a couple of GTX 480 graphics cards that are artifacting. I think I can fix them. I'm going to try and do some old oven frying, if you like, by dismantling the whole card and then heating it up to around about 230, basically resoldering stuff, letting that solder flow through the card. We'll see what happens with that. Now, this is not going to reach me till July. I think it's coming from China, because it just seems to be no people in London that have got this particular thermometer, which is just really annoying. Right, so here we go. Arriving tomorrow by 9 PM. Oh, okay. So, okay, it's 12:16, so that won't get here today. It's tomorrow. That's Thursday. So yeah, we've got a PSU here, VS550. This particular PSU is cheaper here than on Scan. If we look at Scan and we go to VS550, let's go and have a look and see what the price is of their power supplies. I'm going to go for this one, and we want a Corsair 550. Here it is. That is ridiculous. Look, that's £74.98. I think that's the same one. Let me go and have a look at this. Hold on. Well, if I look at it, VS550W, that is, well, you know what? Looking at this, okay, that's an RM series. So that's RM. This is VS. But to be honest with you, we just need 550 watts from a reputable supplier. Whenever you build a PC, I always recommend do not skimp on your power supply. You can get 10 and 15 pound ones, but when they catch fire, you know, you won't be happy with them. You know, I just don't bother with that sort of stuff. Do not skimp on your power supply. No, that will screw things up for you. It might work for a short period of time, but then I mean, it's okay if you're surfing the web, but if you're playing games and you drop in a serious graphic card, you're going to find out that it's going to put extra load on it, and chances are it's going to blow. So, yeah, oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. VS550. Scan is $44.99. Amazon is 39. Well, I've got $39.78, and I paid $39.78. So made a little bit of saving there, not much, but you know how every little bit helps. Well, there you go. Right, now we've also got here, if I go back a section, yes, I bought some SATA cables. Now I bought 5 of them, a 6-pack, sorry. I'm not going to need that, but you never know when they can come in handy. I'm just going to be putting in probably the SSD and a DVD writable drive, optical drive. So we're going to need that. I probably need only 2. Computer's not going to function without the RAM, so I've got some Corsair LPX 8GB, 3228. Again, if we go to Scan and put in this RAM, it is DDR4 and it's 2400 MHz. So let me have a look. Is that right? Yeah, 2400 MHz, 8 gigs. And we look at 8 gig here, if we can find it. Probably can't find it now, typical. How annoying is that? Let's just try, let's go back. How about if I put 8 gig RAM? 8GB RAM. Well, that really doesn't help. Here we go. We'll just have a look at memory kits. Well, here's, now in theory that's pretty much what I've bought, but I bought 1 stick. That's 2 sticks of 4 gig, essentially the same thing, and they're charging me you more money, $41.98. Now we get down to it. 8GB RAM, LPX, $33.98. We paid $32.28. So, okay, we saved like £1 or something. I thought it was a bit more than that, but clearly not. Well, it's helped bring their budget down, even if it's only by £1, but still, hey, I was on Amazon and it was taking enough time, so I just threw it on there. Now, he wants to connect to his residential Wi-Fi. The thing is, where his flat is situated, his current computer cannot seem to pick it up. But to be honest, his current computer is like ridiculously old. He's still on Windows XP. So when I saw that and I clicked on the internet and almost fell asleep waiting for it to open, I told him, you need a new PC, this has got to go. To be honest, his old PC I could have probably fixed. I think that it's probably got a lot of dust in it, clogged up the heat, the fan, which is not cooling the CPU, and then highly possibly melted the metal, or not sorry, melted the thermal paste. That's what I wanted to say. Which means that the CPU is overheating, because every time I check the performance, even if I was to open, try and click on just the Firefox or something, it would show that the CPU usage is at 100%. It was just ridiculous. I think it was a Pentium 4 as well, so it's getting on a bit now. So it had to go, and I think he's happy that we're going to be building this for him. And the other thing was, with this TP-Link Wi-Fi, it says it's quite long range, so I'm hoping, with a bit of luck, that when we plug this into the PC and stick this into his computer, he'll be able to pick up the building network, because he has the he has the residential code for it and everything. So it's just pointless him getting a separate broadband, which he's currently paying for, because he can't get that. I mean, he could have got a laptop and just sat a bit further down, but sometimes you don't want to go out to use your computer. You want to stay in the peace and quiet of your home. So hopefully this will help him. I mean, if it doesn't, what I'm planning on doing is getting a USB adapter, the USB dongle for the Wi-Fi, getting a very long extension lead, and just running it outside his door, picking up the Wi-Fi, and then bringing the extension lead in. Because for some reason, when I tried the iPhone there, what was happening was I was seeing the Wi-Fi when I went outside to the area where he said you could reach it. Once I got it, I was able to go into his room, and it was still holding the connection. But if I tried to get the connection from his room in the first place, I wasn't seeing the network. So I'm not quite sure what was up with that. Hopefully this will help. Right, so yeah, we've got that. I'm going to just come back out of that, go back to my orders. Well, hopefully it's open. Yeah, right, okay. And last but not least, I said to him go for an ultra wide monitor. Now, 149.97, brand new LG from Amazon Prime. I'm thinking this is a really good deal, because on eBay, if I go and look at the same monitor on eBay, right, look at the prices on this, hold on, and bearing in mind this is new, yeah, uses 125. Let's go on eBay and have a look. Same monitor, what's we looking at? Look, 192.21. That's like a lot more, clearly £40 more, 180 quid here. So eBay's not always the best place to get new stuff. Might be for used, but not new. So I'm definitely happy that we went with this one. And originally I was trying to convince him to get a 29-inch, but it was too big for the area, I think, where he's planning on putting it. So yeah, we've gone for a 25-inch. Now I know he's not a gamer, but if you're watching films in CinemaScope and things like that, you will make use of the extra wide or the ultra wide display, because you're going to see things that on a normal display would be cropped. So hopefully you'll be happy with that. To be honest, I have never physically used an ultra wide monitor, so I'm just interested to see this as well, which is why I bought it as well. But I think it's a good thing, and I reckon that once it comes, I think my dad will probably want one as well. But we shall wait and see how that happens. I would buy one for this, for my room. But the problem is, I'm looking right now at a big 55-inch flat screen TV, which is what I've got everything on. So doesn't really warrant buying an ultra wide monitor. I did have 3 1680 by 1050 monitors when I was running 3D Vision a few years ago, and in fact I had them up until last year. I had it all set up, 3 monitors, triple screen, because I used to trade. So for trading and that, 3 screens were essential. For gaming, it was good as well. You got to see more of what was going on in the game. But ultimately, the minute I started using the Rift, I didn't really need the 3 monitors, because the Rift was much more immersive. So VR is just a way forward for me. So that's why, hence why I'm not using those monitors, and I'm probably going to put them up for sale, because I just don't need them. They're sitting in boxes at the minute, so it's a bit useless. And plus they're old now. I think there's a few dead pixels here and there, although you can still use them, and I can't trade till next year anyway. So I might as well just get rid of them, and when next year comes, I will buy some maybe additional monitors, maybe ultra wide ones, to do some trading on. I probably only need one, because I've got this screen here as well. Right, okay, enough of that. So yeah, all this should be coming tomorrow. So the only thing that I said that I was going to put in that you can't see here is an optical drive, and that is because I've actually got an optical drive that I can put in there for him, and also I've got some new HDMI cables and DVI cables, And just to be on the safe side, I've actually got an old graphics card. It's a GTX 260, which I purchased a while back just to tick things over should anything happen to this PC. And I'm probably going to put it inside his PC just so that he can use the other screen when he gets it, because although it's got integrated graphics on this motherboard, I'm not sure if you can use dual graphics. No, you can't. Thinking about it, no, you can't. This motherboard has only got a one HDMI port, one HDMI out, so that is going to go to the monitor. So what I'm going to do, or TV, depending on where he's going to put it, that's why I've got the GTX 260. I'm going to stick it in there, and I'll probably use that first to wire that up to the monitor, because the GTX 260 has dual displays and can, it can render at that resolution. So I might as well just do that. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. So you're going to see me building it tomorrow. I won't be over here. I'll be at my parents'. So I'll show you me putting it all together. And with regards to operating systems, let's just say we'll arrange for that to be sorted out as well. So that should be fine. You'll see it all running. You'll see it all up and running once it's done. And I'm also going to record the boot time so I can benchmark it and compare it with my dad's computer, he's got an i7 920, so it's a bit old, and I've got an i7 4790K. Again, this is quite old as well, considering we are on the 9th generation, or even further now, of processors, or CPU, sorry. So it'll be interesting to see how much of an improvement the speed-wise the new computer gives, because from what I can tell in games, there's not that much difference. I was watching a benchmark of an SSD and this NVMe memory, and to be honest, there's not a lot in it. It's like half a second quicker on booting up and half a second quicker for loading the game. But once you're actually in the game, it just didn't seem to have that much difference. I suppose if I was playing DCS or something and I had DCS on the NVMe memory, it would probably be seamless. But as it is on the SSD, it's pretty seamless at the moment. It's if you put, a game like that on hard drive, which a normal HDD, which is what I had it on before, I couldn't play it properly because it was just too choppy. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But that's what we got. So that is that. I'm going to be speeding up the build tomorrow, so although I'll start recording it in real time, when it comes to editing it and putting it up to what you're watching now, it will be fast forward so you can see what's been done. Well, I'm pleased to report that that PC build was a success. The M2 memory really does make a difference. It is blazingly quick. If you've got the computer powered off and you turn it on, it's already booted up and into Windows 10 within 7 seconds. That's just blazingly quick, and it's only an i3 processor, but the memory is so fast. It's a 3000 megabyte read speed, 1000 megabyte write speed. Um, it's just quick. I think it's one of the fastest you can buy at the moment. Uh, just remember though, if you do decide to go ahead and build a new PC and you want to kind of get those speeds, make sure that the motherboard has an M2 slot, and make sure that the memory you get that goes into the M2 slot does have those sort of speeds, because when I was doing the research online earlier, I saw an SSD, oh sorry, I saw a M2 card, and it was 512 gigabytes, and it was only 60 quid, and then you had a 256 gigabyte, which I think was a 40 or 45 pound. To me, a no-brainer would be to go and buy the 512 gigabytes purely based on memory, but then it's a lot slower. The 45 pound 256 gigabyte, the read speed on that was 3000 megabyte, and the write speed was 1500, whereas the 512 gigabytes um, memory M2, I think the read speed was 1000 and the write speed was roughly about the same. So it didn't offer an immense difference over a standard SSD. I think a standard SSD read speed's about 500 and something, so it was only twice as fast, whereas this one was 3 times as fast. Well, I hope you enjoyed the build, and I will be bringing you other things as well. I don't just build PCs. To be honest, it's not my job building PCs. I just kind of do it for fun, and if somebody's in need, I don't mind helping them out. Obviously, they pay me a little bit, but it's nowhere near what you'd pay if you went and got it done in a shop. Um, I'll also be doing some 3D printing. I'll be showing you how to take something that's already online, not how to model, because to be honest I can't model at the moment. I just take the files that have already been modelled, and then I set up my 3D printer and print them. Sometimes I use Mesh Mixer to do stuff with that to make it work for me, but most of the time the file's already online. So I'm going to take you through that in some of the following videos. Also t-shirt making, even salsa dancing, completely irrelevant, but I will be posting some of my routines up as well, so if you're interested in that, then you're going to see some interesting footage. Well, bye for now, and if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave the comments below. Thanks a lot. Bye now.